We have, I get to talk about BNI Connect, but we love BNI Connect. And one of the things that I really wanted to hit home on today was that there's so much new stuff out there, we can't forget about the stuff that we have, right? There are tools out there that just people aren't utilizing fully. Like somebody actually just came up to me today during lunch and asked, well, I'm a director and I'm not in a chapter, can I still pass a referral? That I want to make sure that everybody walks out of here knowing some of the tools that we already have. Before I do that, for those of you that were here a couple of days ago, you've already seen this slide, but this is my absolutely amazing team. These guys are just the powerhouses of answering questions. They've been answering questions all week while I get to sit on the beach in Hawaii. But between the people on that screen, we have, Jackie Hamill, who's got 20 plus years of BNI experience. We've got myself, I've been in BNI for 22 years. We've got Riaz, who's got like 24 years of BNI experience. Right there, that's like 70 years of BNI experience. Mani in India has been with us for a couple of years now. We've got Samantha, who is in Germany. Jessica, who's in Massachusetts, and Monique pretends she's in California, but she really lives in Connecticut. But between those people, we now cover all 24 time zones, 5 days a week. So we're there for you whenever you need it. All right, just a couple of statistics real quick. We are supporting all of the members out there. Yes, we do get questions in just about every language that we speak on the planet. We are very familiar with Google Translate. Maybe AI will help us a little bit more with that in the future, but right now we do a lot of copying and pasting. So 510,000 support tickets have been answered with an average response time of about 14 minutes now. So my team really is just on top of things, and I couldn't do this without them. All right, so with that, here's the 5 things I want you guys to walk away with today. We talk a lot about, all the 3+1, and part of that too is telling stories, making sure that we keep the lines of communication open. So I want to make sure that you guys can do that. As I said, I didn't even set Arnie up for that, but we are going to talk about making sure that you're recording your activity with members. And oldie but goodie, setting up goals with your chapters. This is one of the most underutilized but powerful things that is in BNI Connect. We're going to collaborate with groups, and well, of course we have the deep dive. So let's talk about some of those things. So first of all, communicate with members. So for those of you who don't know, again, I'm still a member. By the way, I'm now the vice president of my chapter this term. Right, so I am using all these tools every single week myself. But I was also a director for a long time. So I became a director in 2007, and then a couple of years later, I became the area director of Rhode Island. And it was hard to do a lot of the things that I needed to do as a director before BNI Connect. And one of those things was to actually stay in touch with my members, right? Because inevitably what a lot of directors do, and nobody in this room, I'm sure, but you just kind of keep reply all to the last email in the chain, and then maybe you just change the subject line and delete the stuff that's in there. But inevitably, it is going to go to some of the wrong people if you continue to do that. There's going to be the members of the chapter that might have left, or the members of the group that just came into the group this week, but they aren't in the list yet. So there's a couple of tools to make your communication life a little bit easier. So first one is at the chapter level. So if you're supporting chapters, you can just go and select any chapter in the drop-down list, and under the operations menu, there should be a create email option. Or in some languages, it might be interpreted as mass email. And all you have to do is do email my chapter, and right away, boom, you just get the email list for the entire chapter. Copy and paste that into an email. And what I love about this is that it is real time. So again, that chapter, the member that might have expired that day, they are no longer in the list. Right, and the person that just joined the chapter, they're immediately in the list. So there's never any question that you're going to get the right people. All right, but you can do this actually if you're an executive director. If you're a national director, you may not know that you can email every single member in your region basically with like 3 clicks, right? So if you go into BNI Connect, go to the region level, and there's, again, the create email or mass email, and there's the email members there. And this allows you to email all of your chapters at once. right? So we have countries that, about the only country that can't do this is the United States and India, because there is a 25,000 member limit. I hope you all hit that limit soon. And maybe we'll have to talk about, Stephen, about increasing the limit at that point, but you can really slice and dice your membership any way you want to in order to get that email out to the right people, right? So you can choose just certain regions if you have multiple regions in your country. You can choose just certain chapters, and by the way, you can email core groups with this as well. So if you're putting applications in right away with core groups, they're all going to appear in here too. So if you're going to promote a networking event in your region, you don't have to have a separate list of core groups. You can email them all right from this tool. Right? You can just choose, let's say you just want to do all vice presidents or all secretary treasurers or just all education coordinators. Any position that you have assigned, you can email those people as well. You can pick and choose just certain people from the list. You can add people to the list if you want to down below. Whatever you want to do, you can even just take these, and if you hit the get email addresses, you can just copy those out and use your own email program, or you can send them right from BNI Connect. So the next screen will allow you to just create an email right from BNI Connect. We'll take care of sending it out. You will always get a copy of the message. All right, so you don't need to put yourself in as a CC. As soon as you get your copy, you know that it went out to all the people in the region. All right, so easy as that. All right, so the second thing I want to make sure you guys all know is to make sure that you guys are recording your activity with your members, right? We all need to lead by example. And one of the biggest requests we had a couple of years ago was for directors to also be able to access the mobile app, right? So Stephen made that happen. He gave every single director out there, without even having to be a member, access to the mobile app. So you guys can do all the things that the members are doing. So when you have a one-to-one with a member, record it in the mobile app. Record it in BNI Connect. It will show up in their Palms report. They'll get an alert about it. So try to beat them to it if you can. All right, so just in case you don't know how to do it, if you haven't logged into BNI Connect in a while, right, you're gonna, right on the home screen of BNI Connect, at least for the next month or so, and the home screen changes. This is where you do it. You have all the slips right there on the home screen. And then there's actually 3, all right? If you can't find them, you're not looking. There are 3 places to do this in the mobile app, all right? Make it really easy for you, right? The first place is right on the home screen of the mobile app. There's all the little plus signs that are right there next to all the activities. If you don't have that because you're not in a chapter, you can go to the slips feed, and down at the bottom, there's all these plus signs that pop out of the bottom. All right, and if you still don't do it that way, all you have to do is go to any member's profile, and there's that little button that looks like a notepad. That button will allow you to start a referral, a one-to-one, or a thank you for closed business with anybody in the world, right? Whether it's a chapter member that you're sitting with, whether it's somebody at Global Convention that you've had a one-to-one with, you can record that activity, and especially if they're a member, they will get credit for it in the Palms report. All right? Can you guys commit to me that you'll lead by example and use the tools that are available to us and show the members how it's done? Good? All right. So, next thing, the chapter goals. And as I said, this is also one of those really, it's kind of an oldie but goodie. It's been in the system for a long time, but not a lot of people know that it's there. And this is a really powerful tool for members because it lays out the whole leadership term for them, and it automatically updates every single time a Palms report is updated. Right? I know there are certain regions around the world that use this religiously, and it shows. For example, if anybody knows the Florida Tampa Bay region, they're one of the more successful regions in the United States. Every single chapter, every single year utilizes this program. So, where do we find it? It's under the operations menu, and there is the manage goals function. And all you need to do is click on enter goals. Right? When you enter those goals in, it's going to ask you for a couple of things. First thing is it's going to automatically set up those goals. You can do it in any 6-month period you want to. You can set them up for the whole year if you want, but you have to do it in 6-month periods twice. So then I'm going to ask you for if anybody's ever been to a retreat or a convention or done any business planning, you will want to set up a long-term vision and a mission statement, right? This is Business Practice 101, and every chapter should have one of these. You only have to do this part once, and it will stay with the chapter forever. All right, so if you want to change it in 6 months or a year and 2 years, that's fine, but this is one of the kind of set it and forget it type things. All right, the next screen, it's going to have all of the different, basically key success factors for the chapter. And you can set up those goals for the next 6 months. And the one thing I want to call attention to is up at the top, see where it says enter goals as, either per chapter or per member. And what that really means is you want to work with a small number or a big number. All right, so do you want to set up a big number? We want the chapter to do 200 referrals a month or 200 one-to-ones a month, or do you want to concentrate on making sure, like some people that use the power of one or the member traffic lights, want to make sure everybody does one of everything. So whichever one you choose, it will then take the numbers that you put in and either just leave them as they are, if it's a per chapter number, or multiply them automatically by the number of goal members in the chapter when it comes out to the report. That make sense? All right, so it'll record attendance, one-to-ones, thank you for closed business, number of new members added, number of members in the chapter, all the different success factors that we have that are based in the POMS report. And up in the upper right-hand corner, there's also a button that says Chapter Goal Guide. And what that's for is because you'll notice that there's a little space under each one. So it's not just tracking the numbers, it's doing something else that's really important. And that's really kind of like project planning for the chapter for the next 12 months. The person that was up here presenting last said something that really resonated with me. Like, why do we plan visitors days 6 weeks out when we do all our inviting the week before? Right, well, it's the same thing with chapters that if they don't have a plan, they're thinking of these great ideas they're going to do the chapter like the day before they get to the meeting and never actually get around to doing them, right? So it's really important to put some of these things a little further out so you can kind of strategize. You know what? We're thinking about doing a Visitors Day, like we're probably going to do one in October and maybe another one in February. So you can put those into those spaces so that they can have these things planned out for the whole year. And it becomes part of that reporting. And anything else that they want to do to support those goals, whether it's education moments, whether it's making sure they're working on attendance, or making sure they're paying attention to the attendance letters or absentee letters, or they're going to do personal phone calls with members. Whatever goal they want to hit, you got to give them the tools to do that. And that's really what that space is there for. In the chapter goal guide, if you're drawing a blank on different initiatives that you can do, hit the chapter goal guide, and it gives you a whole list of about 100 different things that you can put into those fields to help to support your chapters. And then after you've done that, throughout the year, you can go back into the report and monitor where you've been. So every time you submit a POMS report, it updates those numbers. So you can see the percentages change. You can see what's happening in real time with those chapters. So it pairs hand in hand with insights, but more at a chapter level. And this is a tool that the chapters and the leadership teams of the chapters can use themselves. By default, the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, they all have access to this and can go in, manage the goals, modify the goals, whatever they'd like to do throughout the year. And hopefully the director consultants are helping to support them as well. All right. Next, groups. This is probably one of the best upgrades that I've seen to BNI Connect in recent times, and I've always loved the groups. We talked about this a little bit the other day, but the groups has been a great way to really collaborate on a global scale, because it crosses over chapters, it crosses over regions, it crosses over countries, and allows any number of members to get together and network with one another through the BNI Connect platform. So this recently did get an overhaul. So we have, in BNI Connect in the website, we have network groups, and this has gotten a great new user interface on top of it. Right? We can go in, we can search for groups, we can join groups, you can see what groups you are a part of and want to collaborate with. And there are right now, Stephen, what was the number? 1345. 13:45. He probably just checked about 4 seconds ago. Yes, he did. As I was talking, he was just checking, because we've been watching the groups actually since this update happened. You know, before the update, we had, what, 300 or 400 active groups? And since that update, we've added 1,000 groups. That means members have found this tool. Yeah, good job. Members have found this tool and they're using it. And in about 90 days, we'll see how many are still there, because if a group goes dormant, right? If a group goes dormant for 90 days, we just delete it, right? We send a message first at 60 days saying, hey, looks like nobody's talking. You know, do you still want to keep this group going? Or if the person that made it quits, and you know, we ask them if somebody wants to take over as moderator. But if we get no response, it just gets deleted. So these are always going to be active groups that are in the system that people are using. And as I said, right now there's like 1,345 of them, all sorts of topics, right? So everything from, you know, financial advisors that want to get together. You know, I have a group for the deep dive series where we announce different initiatives that we're doing. Dr. Meisner has a group that has thousands and thousands of members in it. So I do highly recommend you check this out. You can search for groups, you can join the groups, become a part of those groups, collaborate. And one of the things that, you know, I recommend, especially for directors, is why not create a group for the leadership teams and the chapters you support, right? Maybe get all the presidents or all the leadership teams that you support together onto a group and help them collaborate with each other. Instead of sending everything by email, you can put some of this information and keep it in BNI Connect. And as I said the other day, one of the things I love about that is that if somebody leaves BNI, they no longer have access to that group, right? Unlike LinkedIn or unlike sending stuff by WhatsApp or any of the other tools, this is now, you know, kind of in our walled garden. So they need to have access to the system in order to have access to our proprietary information and the stuff that we're sharing to them. All right, so again, you can create, by the way, up to 7 of your own groups. Right, so if you're supporting more than 7 chapters, you can't create one for every single